Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Teal Garcia. If you are coming back to watch another video, thank you so much. On this channel, we talk about all things related to photography. So if that's something that you're interested in, please hit that subscribe button and join me for lots more videos. So a week ago, I did a video on websites. In that video, we talked about all kinds of things that should go into your website, things to avoid, things to make sure that you do, all kinds of good stuff. And that video went over pretty well, so I wanted to do another one. I actually got a very specific message about SEO on a website, like how to make sure that your website ranks if people search. So I want to talk about that in this video. I want to talk about some SEO tips, how to get your website to rank in searching and whatnot. So I do know that SEO is a confusing topic, but essentially, obviously SEO stands for search engine optimization, but SEO in general seems a little bit confusing, but it's really not. What it is you pretty much just have to think about what people would search for you to pop up and integrate those things into your website. For example, living here in Hawaii, I would love to pop up in Google if somebody typed in Oahu, Hawaii photographer or family photographer in Hawaii. So you think ahead and you think of things that people would search for that you would want to pop up for. The point is to be as specific as possible, using locations, using where you live, just all kinds of like keywords. So think of keywords that involve you and go from there. But I will show you some examples. I did redo my website recently, and I actually haven't plugged in a whole lot of SEO because we are in the middle of a move. And if you watched my moving video, we are only going to be moving for like 10 months. So I don't even know if then I want to plug in SEO. When you plug in SEO into your website, it can take a second to kind of click in Google, I guess. You don't just change it and then all of a sudden you show up and all that stuff. Like, it definitely takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of work. So I'm kind of at the point where I don't want to add Hawaii into my SEO a lot because we're moving from Hawaii, right? Like, I don't want to pop up anymore when people are looking for Hawaii photographers. And then in Texas, we're moving to El Paso. We are only going to be there for 10 months. So I don't know if I want to start putting forth the effort into that either, because by the time it finally clicks and I'm in those search engines as El Paso or Fort Bliss photographer, we'll be on our way someplace else and I'll have to redo it. So I haven't messed with it too much just because I'm not really ready for that yet. So when I do start to plug in SEO into my website, once we're someplace we're going to be a little bit longer, I'm going to show you where I'm going to do that at, and I'm going to give you some ideas for your own website. And some things are pretty common, like it's pretty easy to figure out. I think most website builders have little like SEO toolbars and whatnot, but I'm going to show you some other little places to kind of plug in to make yourself pop out if somebody's searching. Let's get to it. Okay, so here I have my website pulled up and I'm in my hub here. I'm in my website building hub. I'm going to be showing you how to do some SEO things, and I'm using my Squarespace website for this. So I don't know, I can't exactly walk you through if you're using a different kind of website builder or a different host, but you should be able to do all these same things in your website. You just might have to poke around a little bit and see where they're located. So the first thing that I want to do is anything like obvious. So for Squarespace, the obvious one is over here in marketing. You click on that and you pull up your SEO tools. So what this does, there's an SEO checklist. I can get into Google and I can do Google search keywords. I can hire an expert. I don't want to do that. So we're going to work at right now. We're going to look at my home page, and that's what's selected here. So I have an SEO title format and I also have an SEO site description. So right now I have it as Texas photographer. I think that's just set like that because that's how I set it up. But this right here is where you can type in whatever you want. And this is going to be the SEO that goes in the description of your website. So like I said, I have Texas photographer. If I wanted to, I could put in El Paso photographer, anything I could think of. And look, you have it gives you 400 characters. You can write pretty much whatever you want in there and, separate them with commas. I could put in Texas photographer. I could put in El Paso family photographer. I could put in El Paso Fort Bliss photographer. I could put in any combination of words to use up all 400 of those characters if I want to. And that's automatically going to link to the description of my website. I'm pretty much telling the internet that this is what my website's about. I'm just going to put it back to Texas photographer just because, that's what it is. Also, this SEO title format, the title appears in the browser tabs and search engine results. I could do the same thing in there. I could type in pretty much whatever I want to type in there. And then I can go to all of my pages and do the same thing. I can add in pretty much whatever I want to do anything I want. I can do to pages and titles. All you have to do is type in what you want people to search for and add it to all of your things. So that's the first one. Play with your website builders, SEO kind of basic stuff. Again, I don't know where to tell you where to find that, but you can kind of just poke around and anything that says SEO, type in anything that you would want to pop up on if somebody searched it on Google. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is another one that's kind of obvious, but a lot of people don't seem to know about it. So the reason why a lot of photographers have blogs on their website is for SEO. So for example, I have these blog posts. I'm still trying to build a blog, but again, I am not trying to pick a location and a bunch of keywords. But for a blog, if you wanted it to be SEO friendly, you would put your location or whatever those titles are that you want people to search, you would put them everywhere you could, okay? On my blog itself, which is the blog page, it has its own SEO settings. Blog, like that's the page on my website, but if I wanted to, I could put blog El Paso photographer or blog Texas photographer. I can do whatever I want to make this title, and then I can also do another description about it. So that's two places on one page that will have some SEO. I'm not going to save anything we're talking about here because I don't want to mess anything up. But also, so that's basic. So now your blog on your website, your blog as a whole will be linked to whatever the title is that you've decided you want people to search for. So the next one would be including those keywords in your blog itself. So here I have this one titled Motherhood Sessions, right? And I just kind of, when you click on it, you go in, I talk a little bit about mother sessions, how important it is for, moms and kids to take photos together. Moms never get in the pictures, blah, blah, blah. For this, if I was going to SEO this and if I wanted it to be available to like pop up in Google or just get my name out there more, what I would do is in the title itself, I would put something like Motherhood Sessions, El Paso, Texas photographer, or whatever. Like I would make sure to put my keywords that I want, my search words, into the title of this blog. Then I would also make sure that I put it somewhere in the writing in the blog. Okay? I would put that anywhere I could. So it's in the title, it's attached to the page, it's attached to the blog, it's written in the description of the blog and in the words. It's just everywhere you could possibly want it to be. It sounds obnoxious, but it's kind of obnoxious. The amount of times that you can and should put your keywords that you want to be known for in your blog. Okay, so the next one still kind of involves a blog, but it also involves the photos on the rest of your website as well. So since we're in the blog already, I will show you on here. So when you have photos attached to your website, you can add descriptions, you can add captions, you can add anything. You can change the name of the photo, you can do all kinds of stuff. So for this, I have to go into Edit, and I'm going to edit my gallery. So as you'll see, when I hover over each one of these pictures, a little thing pops up. So there's like a little sun, a little pen, and a little trash can. We obviously know what the trash can does. The pen edits the photo if I need to crop anything. And if you click this little sun, I'm guessing it's supposed to be a wheel, it'll pop up and it'll say Edit Image. And I can add an image title and I can write about the image. So let me just fix this. I'll put El Paso, Texas photographer, And then right here also, El Paso, Texas photographer. I can add my own URL to this. We're not really messing with that right now. And then I'm going to save. And what that did, it didn't affect my blog at all. Like, it doesn't show that, but that's what that file's name is now. So that file, that picture has been encoded with those words, my keywords, my search words. And now that photo has a better chance of popping up on Google if somebody put in El Paso, Texas photographer, or El Paso and photographer, or even Texas and photographer. It gives, so that photo has the option to pop up now in Google if somebody searched for it. And you can go and do that for every single photo. I'm going to go back to my home page here. So you can do that. So I did it in the blog, and I recommend doing that in your blogs, putting whatever, keywords you want in the description of your photos on your blog. But you can do that with every single photo on your website as well. So here we are on my home page. I'm just going to click edit, and I'm going to edit my gallery. And here, this one shows up a little bit different because it's not a blog, but if I edit my gallery, it's the same thing. If I hover on a photo, okay, I can put a description and a link. I don't need to mess with links, but in this description, I can type the same thing. I can type in El Paso photographer. I don't want to hear nothing about my typing, okay, guys? I'm just trying to get through this. But yeah, I can attach those keywords, those search terms, to every single photo on my website. Every single one. It doesn't have to be in a blog. I can go hard on the same keywords. I can use a bunch of different ones and mix it up, put a few here, a few there, whatever I think people are going to search for. That is the one thing to take away from learning about SEO. And again, I know people think it's super confusing, but it's not. It's exactly what you think someone is going to search for on Google, and you want to pop up for that. Okay? And the more specific you are, the better off you are also. Don't just put travel photographer or photographer or, that's why I said I would go into like El Paso, Texas photographer, not just Texas photographer. Like, I'll get a lot more narrowed down results, and there'll be less of a pool. So if somebody searches for Texas photographer, there's going to be so many that pop up, and I might be in there, but the person that was to put, or if somebody was to search El Paso photographer, there's going to be a whole lot less of that than there is Texas. So that gives just me a better chance. So be very specific and narrow down your SEO words, like pretty closely to where it describes you and not a whole lot of other people if you can. Like, you don't want millions to pop up. You want maybe like hundreds to pop up instead. Okay, so that's for that. Go in every single photo on your website and add in some sort of wording, some sort of type, anything that you want for your SEO. Okay, so the very last thing that I want to talk about, you'll notice we are off of my website now. The very last one I wanted to talk about are custom domains. So as you know, I talked about in the other video, I do think having a custom domain is very important with your name, your business name, whatever, however you want people to find you. However, there's also a way that you can attach more than one domain to the same website. So I pulled up GoDaddy to kind of show you what I mean. So for example, you can search for my website. You can go tealgarcia.com, teallikethecolor.com. You can type those things into Google. You can type my name into Google and my website pops up. What you can also do is take those keywords, those SEO keywords that we're putting all over the website, and you can actually create a domain that has those words linked. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm in GoDaddy right now, and if you've never used GoDaddy, it's pretty awesome. I have done quite a bit of business with them, and I love them. But you can go in and you can search, and I'll show you what I mean. So all over my website, we were playing with El Paso, Texas photographer, correct? So what I'm going to do in this little search domain, and this is going to tell you what domains are available. Yeah, I'm just going to put in El Paso family photographer, because that to me is what somebody would search for. and I would search, and it's going to tell me if it's available or if it's not. And it is. It's available. ElPasoFamilyPhotographer.com is available. So what does this do? You're thinking to yourself, why do I need to buy and create a bunch of these domains? Because if you think about it, like let's say, for example, like Walmart. If you Google Walmart, the first thing that pops up is Walmart.com, right? I mean, sometimes if somebody paid for an ad, it might be a little higher up. But for the most part, having the name, having what people are searching for as a domain is like perfect, right? So if somebody was on the internet searching El Paso Family Photographer, this domain will come up. And then when they click it, it will take them to my website. Let's look at some other ones, because I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually surprised that this one came up as $1, because some really good ones, GoDaddy likes to play with your emotions, and if you think of a really good domain, sometimes they'll know it's a good domain and they'll know it's a really good searchable term, and the domains do cost a little more. But hey, there's nothing wrong with investing in your business. So, for example, let's look up Texas Family Photographer. Okay, so TexasFamilyPhotographer.com is taken. However, it does give you TexasFamilyPhotographers.com is available for $11.99. You go .net, .club, .org. Especially, so .com is important, I think, for your main website to be, but .net, .club, .org, I think .photo is even an option sometimes. The Family Photographer, see what I mean? The Family Photographer is at $1,800. They know that that's a good searchable term. So what I'm saying is, for those extra, like those bonus ones that are just going to be attached to your website for like extra searchability, you know, if it's not .com, like that's okay. Like I think that still just getting your website attached to something that's super searchable in that term is still okay. Like TexasFamilyPhotographer.club. .org. Like I would actually buy any one of those. But again, I recommend narrowing it down a little bit more. Like I said, like El Paso, we're going to Fort Bliss. Actually only going to be 40 minutes away from New Mexico. So I could even like play with the closest big town in New Mexico and type that in. You know you get what I'm saying? Okay, so that last one about the websites, do you get what I'm saying? Finding the search terms and creating domains that are linked directly to your website are super helpful, and I actually never had really thought about that until we moved to Hawaii, but I could never actually get a Hawaii one to attach to my website because they were all very expensive. And again, I said, you know, there's nothing like investing in yourself, but $400 to come up with something that was, you know, Oahu, Hawaii. Really, anytime you put anything Hawaii, it seemed like in there, it got really expensive really quickly because those are obviously really good search terms. So it is what it is, but I think that that is definitely something I'm going to do in the future. I know a lot of people who that's worked awesome for, so that's another thing to keep in mind when it comes to SEO for your website. That's actually all I have on that topic. I hope I didn't like super confuse you. I think that a lot of people hear the words or like hear the term SEO and they like want to understand what it means, but it is very, very simple. It's plugging in keywords. Just imagine if you were searching for that, what search terms you would use, plugging that in to anywhere you can, and I showed you lots of places where you can plug that in into your website. So, and it's again, I showed you on my Squarespace. It's just going to be about finding how and where to do those things on your own website. But yes, lots and lots of search terms, putting them anywhere and everywhere you can, and you will be good to go. I actually get a lot of visitors to my website, my old website, not my new one before, because, and again, I did just recently change my website, and a lot of that was because my old website was very SEO'd to Hawaii. Very, very much. I also didn't really like that platform, the host that I was using for that, but it was very, very Hawaii SEO'd, and I kind of wanted to start from scratch. So there was a lot of reasons, but the SEO was another reason that I switched my website. And again, don't get discouraged. You're gonna go on there, you're gonna spend 3 hours making your website super search friendly in Google, and then you're gonna ask somebody to Google you and you're not gonna pop up right away. And that has to do with a lot of things. It has to do with you just changed it, and you know, it takes a little while. It takes a little while for things to kick in. It's absolutely not instant. Don't get upset if things don't start popping up everywhere right away. If you put them in all that stuff and you continuously use those search terms, you'll kind of start to get like a history on Google, and there'll be a lot more that will pull up when people use those search terms. Okay. I'm sorry if that was a lot. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, if you have any SEO tips that I missed having to do with the website, let me know in the comments. If you are not subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate it. I have goals to reach. But that's all I have for today, and I will see you next time. Bye.